Yeah, so let's just kind of introduce Giulio Parentini here, one of the owners of Moris Farms Estate in Maremma. He is the CEO and one of our greatest wine ambassadors, wine buddies. He visits the market fairly regularly, but I know there are still plenty of you that haven't met him yet. So we're looking at near the kind of the southern part of Tuscany here. A long-standing family estate. Some of the wines that they bring to us, you'll see later, like Avoltore, Morellino di Scansano. One of the proud, long-standing producers in the Kindred Vines portfolio. So we welcome Giulio. Very excited to have him with us. So go ahead, Giulio.
Thank you very much for your introduction. I mean, we have to visit the people that I don't know yet soon. I mean, we have to repair this mistake. I'm so happy when I can work with one of your reps. Mine is a family business. We came from Spain more than 200 years ago, and we work in Tuscany since generation. We own 2 different estates, and both are located in the southwest part of Tuscany. We are in an area that is not yet well known. This area is called Maremma. Maremma is a specific area of Tuscany. We are in an area that for an Italian is a trend, is the growing up area of Tuscany. That's describe you that we are in Tuscany, and we are in a cool area of Tuscany. And we have these 2 wineries completely independent. One is North Grosseto city, you can see in the map Grosseto, and one is south from Grosseto. We produce, you can see one is the violet part, is where we produce Montreggio di Massa Marittima, and one is the gray part, where we produce Morellino di Scansano. In the gray part we have the sandy soil, and in the violet part we have clay soil. This is the biggest difference between the 2 wineries that we have. In the north is okay. As you can see, principally we are a Sangiovese producer, and we have in total almost 500 hectares of land, and 70 are under vines production. We are a producer that is really doing a great job since so long, and a lot of other wineries now are taking care of our production. I mean, our name, Moris Farms name in Tuscany, in Maremma specifically, became a great symbol of quality wines. We are the referring name, the standard of the quality for a lot of other producers, and the customer in Maremma, they love to drink our wine. We are the first choice of a lot of Morellino from Maremma area. In the next slide, you can have some pictures that show you our winery. The first one refers to Avoltore hill, that is the symbol of our estate, the hill with the cypress trees on the top. And now the skyline of this hill is the logo that you can find in our some of our labels, or in our brochure, in our website, and so on. The next picture again, it's the vineyard where we have Morellino di Scansano production. I'm proud of this picture because this picture is 2001 or 2002, I'm not sure. And you can see in the back, nothing. Now these vineyards are completely surrounded by other producers, by other wineries, and so on. But Moris Farms was there much earlier, much before than anyone else. And that, I think, it's something that we can be proud, because we did the story of quality wine in Morellino di Scansano area, and this picture is the proof. And you can see that now, if you come and see the same picture, you will see that we are surrounded by a lot of new vines planted by other producers who came after our good result starting in 1996. They came visiting Maremma because they saw that they could produce good wines, and the quality of the land, the average quality of the weather condition was particularly good. But Moris Farms was one of the pioneers who believed before in this quality. In the next picture again, you can see the barrique room that we have in Poggio alla Mozza estate, in the sandy soil one. Here we group the barrique of both the wine and the wine that is aging here. Comes from both the states. Here we have Barba Spinosa, Moreno di Scansano Riserva, and Avvoltore, all aging together in the same room. And I'm proud to say that Kindred it's the importer most of all outside Italy has the best representation of all Moris Farms wine, of all Moris Farms formats. I mean, it's the only place outside Italy where you can find the biggest Moris Farms selection of all our products. We have, to start describing our wines, we have a wonderful Vermentino, that is a famous grape from all the coast area of Tuscany, Corsica, and Liguria. We blend it with 10% of Viognier, and we have several formats available. In 3 different formats we sell this wine. I think it's a perfect wine. It's fruited but not too much. It has a great minerality, cleans very well the mouth, and that tastes perfectly with fried food, with fish, appetizer, pasta, I mean fish in general, but even some kind of white meat. In Italy we eat chicken and even rabbit too, and tastes fantastic with this kind of meat, for example. It's a kind of white wine with personality and some structure. After the Vermentino, we have the Rosato. It's the only wine that we sell most of all outside Italy than in Italy. By the way, tomorrow we are going to crop our 2017 Sangiovese Rosato, and we will start the vinification of this wine. We immediately divide the skins from the juice. We work exactly as a white wine. So for 2-3 nights, we will keep the juice cold without skin contact, because the wine will be immediately pressed without the skins. And 3 days after, just for the white wine and the rosé, we add selected yeast to let the wine ferment at the very low temperature. We speak about 14 Celsius degrees. That means a cold temperature for the natural yeast that we have. We are speaking about 67 Fahrenheit. We try to preserve all the perfume, all the bouquet of the rosé wine. It's the most fruited wine that we have, and so we use a lot of CO2, both to cool down the temperature and it's important to cool down the temperature and to preserve the oxidation for not losing the bouquet of the wine. You know, in USA, you know more than me about the rosé. It's the rosé season since May till the end of September, and it tastes great alone in the patio in a beautiful summer day. And I want to say that in Italy we drink rosé even outside this period. Is not forbidden. No one will complain if you will have a bottle of rosé in October or November. I'm sure that you will appreciate it anyway. After the rosé, we have our younger red wine. It's the most fruited red wine that we have, very fresh, easy to drink, really juicy, a nice expression of Sangiovese taste. It's blended first of all with Sangiovese, but we have several other varietals. We are proud of the quality, price, and the points that this wine receives, especially in its price range. It's the most aggressive red wine, the price that we have. And we produce these from the clay soil estate that we have. The production per hectare, it's a little higher than other wines that we produce, so the tannin is not too aggressive, and the wine remain fresh and easy to drink. It's a red wine that doesn't make barrique at all. It's just cement tanks in this case. After the Mandriolo, there is one of our most representing red wine. It's one of our flagship. Moris Farms is known, first of all, for Morellino di Scansano and the last red that is Avvoltore. Morellino di Scansano, it's a wine that we produce since 1981. We are proud of our quality result. It's one of the standard point of Morellino di Scansano. We are one of the pioneer, one of the referring estate of this appellation. It's an appellation that require minimum 85% of Sangiovese, and in our case, we blend it with 10% of Merlot and Syrah. And so we keep even more Sangiovese than necessary. It's fermented in stainless steel tanks, and we do a 7 days, 10 days fermentation, and then we divide the skins. We don't look for too long maceration of the skins. When the sugar are zero, few days after, we take out the skin, and we divide the skin from the juice. The sandy soil makes this elegant tannin and fresh in the mouth, but with a really hearty and important flavor. Tastes great with food or even alone. The next wine, it's it's a wine that very important for us, referring to kindred. Since the beginning, the Michigan was the importer who discovered the quality price of this wine. It's a 90 Sangiovese with 10% Cabernet Sauvignon. Comes from the appellation Montreggio di Massa Marittima, and I think it's great for the value of the wine, the quality price. I find in this wine balsamic notes, but not balsamic of vinegar, balsamic of rosemary, freshness. It's a red wine that has a great structure, importance without covering the food. It's rich and powerful, but it's not aggressive. You can drink it alone, or with simple food, or even with second courses. I mean, it's probably the most complete wine that we produce. It's the easiest matching with the food. I love this personality of this wine. This is thanks to the Cabernet Sauvignon. Just a description about the name. It's the second vintage that we created this name because we decided to personalize more the name of Montreggio di Massa Marittima, and so instead of using the generic name of appellation, we created the private name Barba Spinosa, looking in our family story that literally translated means thorny beard. So when I spoke this when I told this name to a girl in USA, describing the wine with the leather, the spices, and the tobacco, she said that this is exactly how we imagine Gandalf smoking a pipe in front of a fireplace and drinking a glass of red wine. And so I thought that the name was appropriate at the end. So he's a long, thorny beard man. Now, after the Barba Spinosa, we have the two important wines from both the winery. The best wine that we don't produce in the vintages that we don't like. Morellino Scansano Riserva is the best wine that we have from the sandy soil estate. It's I forgot to say you before what Morellino Scansano is. Morellino is the local name of Sangiovese grape, and in this blue capsule, it's our representation of the Riserva version. That means minimum 1 year of barrique and 2 years before you can release the wine. At the moment, you have the 2012 vintage, and this is a kind of wine that when we release is good to be drunk, is good to be sold, but if you have a little more time to age and drink after some years more, you can appreciate even much better. It's a wine that it will be never too old. It's I mean, my personal statistic says that this wine is really appreciated by the lady for this elegant tannin smell and structure without being too aggressive in the mouth. It's a wine that is great with grilled meat, in my opinion, and important second courses, without covering the flavor of the food. The last red wine that we have in our portfolio. It's the most important tool that we produce since 1988. It's the red wine that we have with less Sangiovese grape inside. It is anyway a 75 that is blended with a 20% Cabernet Sauvignon and an amazing Syrah. Just for curiosity, we cropped the Syrah last Thursday, and we were doing a pump over a few minutes ago in the cellar, and I can tell you that it's so rich in color, in structure, in flavor, that is amazing. I mean, it's a 5% Syrah that it's really, really important at the end of the production for this wine. It's really a great sign and distinctive of this wine. The wine makes 1 year in barrique, and 70% of new barrique, 30-40% are used. We don't want to cover the taste of a wine with too much taste of oak and barrique. First of all, the wine must be produced with good fruit, and when you have good fruit, you want to drink this in the glass. Avvoltore is the local name for a bird of prey. The hill that I told you before, that I showed you before, was called the hill of Avvoltore, and this is the Avvoltore bird. So it's a bird of prey, a raptor, and this bird of prey really fly often on the top of a hill, and is not a vulture, is a bird of prey that eats the live animal. And my father created this wine in 1988, and we decided to bottle this just in the vintage that we are really proud of the quality. Doesn't happen often, fortunately, but sometimes we have to take the difficult and hard decision to skip the vintage that we don't consider at the high quality of this wine. For us, it's so important when people decided to share and drink a bottle of this wine, that we know that is a great responsibility for us. We are part of this special event. People who want to celebrate an anniversary or a particular festivity, they often decide to drink a bottle of Avvoltore, and so we know that we have to put in the glass before they will open the best quality wine as possible in this of that vintage. Few weeks ago, I met people from Michigan who told me that they were going to celebrate their Thanksgiving with a bottle of Avvoltore, a big format, and I think that this is an amazing compliments that a wine producer from Italy can receive, knowing how important it is for an American family celebrate a big festivity, a big anniversary like Thanksgiving. And we know that we are part so often of these important moments, and we are really proud of these events. The wine comes from the clay soil estate, and so it has a stronger and powerful, rich tannin, but still well ripe. We always wait for the perfect ripeness of the grapes. We crop during all September, part of August and part of October, to have the grapes when they are ready to be cropped. So we start with Syrah, we will have Sangiovese, and we will finish with Cabernet Sauvignon, to obtain a wine that will not be bitter or too tannin in the mouth, but it will be complex and rich of flavor thanks to the perfect ripeness of the skins. The last wine is the sweet wine that we have. It's Montepulciano grape that we let over-ripen the grapes in the vineyards. We crop it at the end of October, November, depends on the season, and we ferment directly. We let it in the barrique, in the same barrique, for almost 1 year. In this case, we are able to obtain a sweet wine, but not too over sweet, that doesn't cover the flavor of the food and doesn't leave a strange mouth. It has a nice acidity and a well balance. I think that drunk and fresh is great with some cheese and obviously easily with dessert. I found even brave people who love it with some kind of appetizer like foie gras or chicken liver pate, for example, and that tastes great with this kind of pate, for example. So you can use or to start a meal or to finish, because it's not too sweet. At the moment, we sold out the actual production, and we are going to release next year the new vintage. Mine is a family, as I told you, who came from Spain almost more than 250 years ago, and we immediately worked in the land, but the wine production wasn't the core business, and it wasn't the biggest production that we were doing. It was just something less important. Ben was my father who arrived, and he saw great potentiality of in the winery, and he thought that we could produce great red wines and great white wines too, and so we started year after year doing better wines, and we focus on the wine production, and we began to be pioneers of this. When it wasn't common, because Maremma wasn't an area considered a great quality wine production, but my father was able to show them that they were wrong, and he saw before other that we could have quality wines from here. Just to summarize everything, the two wineries are completely independent. One has sandy soil and the other one has clay soil. We have three different appellations, two DOC, one Montreggio di Massa Marittima, one Maremma Toscana that takes both the state, one DOCG that it's the Moris Scanzano, is the most important appellation that we produce. In total, we have 70 hectares. The clay soil gives a strong and powerful tannin, and the sandy soil gives softer and elegant tannin. Michigan is a market that I'm proud to say has a complete production and a complete offer of all our wines, and we love our products, and I'm proud to organize a wine dinner maybe in future with you. I normally result quite well, and I'm proud to be part of these events if it is possible. Okay, any question from you? Pronto?
Yeah, thank you, Giulio. Yeah, anybody does, that was very complete, thank you. Does anybody have any questions about the estate or about the wines or anything to do with maybe this year's harvest?
Also, hey, Giulio, this is Dan. When would you, what would you present, in terms of your wine, when would you present one brand to a client versus another one of your brands?
We are a brand, a serious one. I mean, we are very strong at home, and people from Maremma really trust on our name, and we like to put the face. This is why I love to travel a lot, because I love to present my wine, and I'm proud of the quality of my wines. I don't ashamed of any of my products, especially for the quality price in the price range, and this is why I'm not scared to challenge with anyone when we have to open one of my bottles because for the quality price, I'm sure that I can offer you always the highest quality available from that vintage. Was pronto?
Okay, yeah, thank you. I guess, yeah, I have a kind of a question myself about, this year was, I know, very hot, and I know there were some maybe water issues in some other areas of Italy. Yeah. How does this year look for you in terms of harvest and quality? And what do you think will be the strongest from this vintage?
Yeah, okay. First of all, compared to 2003, for example, we didn't do the mistake to say, look, a plant has to suffer. We have to wait before we have to wait before water, because too much water is bad for the plant. This year we understood that the weather is changing. It was going to be a dry season, and we told to one of our employees, please never stop. You are free to water the vineyards. Obviously, we do per sector, so it doesn't mean that we water every day all the vineyards. But we told him that he was free to water as more as possible any sector that was necessary, and he never stopped since June till now. And it was very useful to let the plant continue the ripeness and so on. For sure, I can tell you that at the moment we are cropping with 5 days, 1 week earlier compared to last year, and the grapes that are getting inside, for sure, obviously they are completely healthy, no trouble because no rain at all during all the summer. So there are not for sure any kind of illness and troubles, and the grapes are tasting greatly. My statistics at the moment are saying that we have lower juice than usual, but this is what we were expecting. At the moment, we have just 2 kinds of grapes inside, Syrah and Viognier. Both are pretty, how do you say? Both are pretty small and thin and not juicy grapes. Probably the final result is a little less anyway than usual. So we are expecting, I'm not sure yet with the numbers, but a certain percent less than of production, less than last year, but for sure a great quality, because we knew how to challenge with a so dry season and so hot summer, and we are lucky in both the state. We don't miss water, and we never stop giving water the plants in any state. And it was a great idea who really let us producing quality grapes. We were lucky of this.
Good, very interesting. Thank you, Giulio. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Giulio, very much for joining us today. Very informative, as always. And we look forward to having you back in the market. We certainly want to have you, yes, with some of our newer representatives. We'll get this up on. I'm sorry?
I will be happy to come. I have so many people that want to know. I thanks Dan and you for all the job that you are doing, the great job that you are doing with my wines. And so I really want to come soon, maybe for a wine dinner and another tasting. I will be happy and proud to attend.
All right, perfect. Yeah, Giulio always does a great job when he's in the market. And yeah, look forward to having you back again. So thank you very much, Giulio.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Giulio. Tell Ranieri and the rest of the family we said hello.
Okay, thank you. I'm waiting for Carrie. Soon.
Oh, yeah. All right, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Ciao a tutti. Buon lavoro. Bye.
That's very serious. Yeah, that's exactly. So what did you say again was the scale of rental? What is 100?